I'm going to tell you the funniest story ever.
Let's hear it.
It's about Woody's. Woody's is every lesson, for better or for worse, that I've ever realized, that I've ever experienced in my life. So here's the top of it. But so if you look on the left hand side there, so you know how you go in and you circle and you go through the tunnel and you come out.
Yeah.
Right? Well, right up this little Task Street, South Task Street, you go up about a block. There was a gal that lived there. Her name was Eileen. Well, I get a letter, certified letter in the mail from this gal, Eileen, lives up on Task Street. And she sent me certified letters. She sent them all office. She sent them all around. And she was on some group, some neighborhood group, and had everybody all fired up. And by the time I got it, this thing is a bubbling mess. She said, I'm going to turn you into call John Morgan, and I'm calling the attorney general and all this crap. And I was like, what in the world? And my hero, my little autistic son, Nuggy, we call him Cole, uh, he and I were together that day, and I got this letter in my mailbox. It was the nastiest letter. And you're ruining our lives, and you're destroying our community, and your car wash is noisy, and I'm calling all the radio stations, television stations. I was like, oh my God. So her address is on the letter. I go rolling up Task Street. Nuggy's with me. Nuggy is the biggest fan of Woody's you've ever met. I mean, that guy bleeds Woody's. He's watched this ever since it was a car wash video and watched Dad build this thing.
Hell yeah.
So we go rolling in there, and I hit the door. And
Damn, you pulled up on her.
oh yeah, I mean, the woman won't talk to me, clearly. I mean, she's threatened to kill me practically. And so I roll up on her, hit the door, and she don't come out. And I'm looking around there, and I hear this screen door slam across the way. Bam! And I look out there, and here comes this gal, boy. She's just steaming out across the yard. And she come over, and she says, what are you doing? I said, I'm here to talk to Eileen. And she goes, yeah. I said, well, who are you? She goes, I'm her neighbor.
Damn.
And I was like, oh my God, big dog over there barking behind the fence, Nuggy, and he's looking at Dad. So this little lady come out the back, and I said, are you Eileen? She goes, yeah. I said, Eileen. I said, I'm Don Phillips. I said, me and Nuggy went to the mailbox this morning, and you sent us this letter. And I said, this is about the most god-awful letter I think I've ever gotten. And she goes, well, yeah. I wrote that letter because you opened that car wash down there, and all we listen to is your dryer's blowing all the time, and it's making all this racket, and we can't sleep, and you're destroying the quality of life in our neighborhood, and yada, yada, yada. Well, I just let her vent. And I said, well, Eileen, I said, my car wash is a whole whopping block from your house. It used to be a time that when we were neighbors, that we would go over and we would talk to our neighbor. I said, your friend over here, we use the name Susan. Is this your neighbor? She goes, oh, yeah, she's my best friend. I said, you see that big dog that Susan's got back there popping his teeth and barking? If that dog is barking at night, keeping you awake, do you write a letter to the attorney general? Do you threaten her with some law firm? No. You go over there and you knock on the door. And you go, Susan, can you get that dog to knock it off? He's keeping me awake at night. I said, Eileen, why don't you just walk down the street and say, Mr. Phillips, I can't sleep. Your car wash is making too much racket. And she looked at me like I'd hit her in the head. And I said, I'll tell you what you do. I said, now I'm on this, God, I can't remember the name of it, the little network, everybody uses in the neighborhood.
Next door.
Nextdoor. Oh, my God. That's a sewing circle if there was one. And
Last place a developer wants to be.
you know what, buddy? Just get right in there with them. I'm just going to tell you. People are so sick and tired of somebody passing the buck that if you raise your hand and say, you know what? If I screwed it up, I'll fix it. I am the guy that you're complaining about. So before 40 of you form a war party, let's just talk it out first, okay? Because they just get each other all riled up. So I said, I'll tell you what you do. Why don't you get on your network there, call up everybody you've pissed off. And I said, y'all come on down there next Saturday morning. Let's hash this out. Let's fix this problem. Well, I'll tell you something, Garrett. Of course, I knew my customer, so I had about 5 boxes of Krispy Kreme donuts down there waiting on him with boxes of coffee.
Damn.
And we went and toured that car wash. And this is a 2-story. I started the 2-story car wash here in town. And we walked upstairs. I showed them all the equipment, showed them how to recycle the water. We reutilize 75% of the water. Went through the whole thing. So you girls bring your cars over here. It's mostly gals, And I said, drive your cars. Let's wash some cars together. Let me show you how this all works. Well, we spent about an hour there. Buddy, by the time we finished that, we had rolled out a whole plan to go in there and put sound abatement material in there. I said, look, I didn't know, Eileen.
Right.
Now, here's the cool part of this story. I turned that dark negative into the highest positive. I decided that this was a great opportunity for Woody's to demonstrate to the community the value of having a local-owned business. I'm a car nut. Right down the street, I restore old cars. And I had just finished a 1955 F-100 pickup truck. And I put a big old decal on the side of that thing. Woody's Wash Shack Clean Team. And I put, just like the race car drivers do, I put on the door of it, Eileen. I put it right up there on the door.
Damn.
And when things would get slow, we'll pile the boys in the back of that thing, and we ride through the streets around our car washes. And we have an A-frame in there with a QR code on it for Woody's Wash Shack. And we pick up litter out of the street. We've gotten a couple calls, so they'll call the cops on, what are these guys doing? I said, man, we're just out here doing what we're supposed to be doing. We're just taking interest in our community, and we're just picking up trash. That gal, it just broke her heart. And she became the biggest brand ambassador for Woody's Wash Shack. People would start ranting on us in next door, and old Eileen would jump in there and say, whoa, whoa, whoa. I mean, my hat is off her. I miss her. She moved away. But I used to go over and visit with her and have coffee. And she became one of Woody's biggest fans. When we were doing the next car wash at the other end of Gandy, and people were jumping on next door, hating on us.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Eileen, she'd go in there. She'd go in there like a pit bull and say, whoa, whoa, whoa. You don't understand who you're dealing with. These people are local. This is a family-owned business. They care about our community. Let me tell you about that. Wow. And again, that whole thing and with the clean team came out of because one day I was on next door watching for this, and this is the most amazing thing. They were complaining, a bunch of neighbors were complaining about somebody that had 2 bags of trash had fallen off the back of their car and it landed in the middle of West Shore. And for 2 days, they complained about the trash, and somebody called the city, and somebody needs to get the city down here to do their job. You know what I did? I stepped on that Nextdoor app and I said, don't worry about it. We're a neighborhood business, and we're in the business of clean. I'll have my boys out there in an hour. We'll pick that trash up for you. You don't need to call the city. There is no license. There is no exclusive license on doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, in this day and time, I think that doing the right thing is the smart thing because nobody does it. And I do think that is an illustrative example about why Woody's Wash Shack is the largest, the most profitable, with the highest number of members of any car wash in all of Greater Tampa Bay.
Hey guys, if you want to watch the full episode of this clip, click right here. Make sure to subscribe by clicking right here. Thank you for watching.